All right, hello everybody. This is Carl White here, and we are going to first of all, I want to thank Valerie for letting me and my good friend Frank Gray be a part of this. And one thing that I have found in the mortgage business, and for those of you that don't know, so not only do I have a training company, I'm the branch manager, one of the largest branches in the nation. And one thing that I found was very important early in the game is figuring out like who does what. And frankly, it was like as loan officers and as branch managers, like we got a lot of hats to wear. First we have to put our salesperson hat on to sell a deal, and then once a deal comes in, we have to put on our fireman suit to put the fires out and chase conditions. And I found that when I'm chasing conditions and putting out the fires, nobody's bringing in loans like on my behalf. So at any one given moment, I can only be doing one thing. So if you were to kind of ask, like, Carl, what's the foundation of everything that you do, both in your training and in your when your mortgage company? And just for clarification, it's not my mortgage company. I'm a branch manager at a mortgage company. But if you say, what is the foundation for the success that I've had? And I think just this year alone, just this year, I think we're going to end up somewhere around $1.4 billion in closings, right? Which is just unfathomable to me not that long ago. And now that's kind of our accepted norm. But it's all about finding that very few set of things that make you most your money and focus on that. So what we're going to do for a few minutes here, this will probably take about 15, 20 minutes to go through this, is I'm going to walk you through an exercise that has probably been the single biggest exercise that I've done that's given me my best results. And I'm going to share that with you. So we call it the acts of freedom. So in the acts of freedom, kind of the foundation of it is to understand that, look, if and there's several different kinds of marketing. There's consumer direct, and then there's referral partner marketing, right? We do them both very well, very successfully. What we're going to talk about today, though, is referral partner marketing. And one thing that we found about with real estate agents, or working with real estate agents, is you know getting them to start referring to us was very, very profitable. Because like if you look at like an average 40-hour work week, in a month, that gives us 160 hour of work time, right? 160 hours of work time. Now I get it, we're doing other things too, but out of that 160 hours, if we brought in just one new agent, just one new referral partner out of 160 hours for the month, just one new agent that would refer to us, that one agent referring us a deal a month, right? A deal a month, which would be $2,000 per deal. That's just average, right? Some of you make $4,000 per deal, somebody make $500 per deal, but just nationwide, just assuming a couple, $200,000 loan amount, 100 basis points. Maybe your loan amount is twice as big or half as big, or maybe you get paid 20 basis points or 200 basis points. But just for a reference point, if one deal brings us $2,000 and we have an agent referring us one deal a month, right, which is $2,000 a month, that means that one agent, that one referral partner is worth $24,000 a year. $24,000 a year. So if we want to make an extra, say, 100,000, we just need around 4 of those, right, for the whole year to get a $100,000 raise. And so we have 160 hours of work time in a month, and in that 160 hours, we're looking to bring on just one, right? Not 10, not 11, not even 2, just one. And if we do that, or when we do that, if we bring in one new agent per month, and then we do that every month, right, for 12 months, just one new one each month, right? It kind of builds on each other because the one we got last month is still sending us business, right? So if we just get one new agent per month out of 160 hours per month, that gives us a $288,000 increase on top of what you're already making. So whatever you're making, add 288,000 by just bringing in one new agent that refers us one deal per month. That's it. Sounds pretty simple, and it is. And don't get me wrong, 288 is not where we want you to, to finish up at, but we have this saying, every $288,000 helps, right? So that's what we're going to kind of focus on here today. Now, when we look at this simple math, we go, well, gosh, Carl, that's pretty simple math. Why isn't everybody doing that, right? Why isn't every loan officer doing that? Because we'd get a $288,000 raise this year. Next year, we'd get an additional 288 stacked on the last 288. And by the way, not just counting that, now we get some deals from referrals from those people. The listing agent refers us somebody, or the title company refers us to another agent, or that loan that we close with that agent, they had a brother or sister, a mother, daughter that's getting a loan or refinance or cash out, or somebody's getting divorced, they need to restructure their debt, right? This stuff just snowballs onto each other, which is how we close about $1.4 billion for the year, for the 2020 year, $1.4 billion. All right. So why doesn't everybody do this? Why doesn't every loan officer do this? And I figured it out. It's like time. See, Carl, I don't have the time to do that. All right. I'll give you that. Sometimes I felt like I didn't have the time either. But it's not that I don't have the time, because we all get the same amount of hours in a day. What we're really saying is I'm not dedicating the time out of that 168 work hours. I'm not dedicating any time to look for that new referral partner that, if I do that every month, would make me an extra $288,000. Right? When you say that, that almost sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean you don't spend that time making $288,000? That's $288,000. Do that 4 years, that's $1 million plus, $1 million plus. So we have got to carve out the time. We all have the time. We're just spending that time doing something else. So how do we take that? How do we carve out that just a couple hours a week to do proactive work to get that one agent to send me one deal a month that is now worth, if I do that every single month, an extra $288,000? So the little exercise that I'm going to run you through today is, what you do is you make a list of all those things that you're doing, right? And there's a little list here. You can pull it off of the PowerPoint, which of course, you know, is provided here with these classes. So you look at at all the things here, and what you do is you go through this and you put an initial beside each one, like answer the phones, write a name there, or initials. Who attends the closings if you do? Who does the bookkeeping? Who calls the pre-approved looking buyers every Thursday? Who calls the leads? Who calls the realtors and referral sources? Who chases conditions? Who checks your email? Who checks your voicemail? Who checks the website for leads? Who collects the initial docs, or clears conditions, or the compliance, or the coordinating the closing, or creating the paper file, or good news, bad news? You get, there's just a list here. Now, you may not be doing everything on this list, and that's okay. I'm not saying that you need to, right? Like, you might say, well, Carl, I'm not, whatever, I'm not, I don't have to do office management. I'm a loan officer, right? My branch manager does that, or Steve, who's the office manager, does that, right? So I'm not saying you need to do each and everything on here, and I'm not saying that everything you do is on this list. I'm saying this list is just kind of get your creative juices going, and you write down everything that's happening in your office, and then write a name beside there. So we have identified who's doing what activity. And if it's just you doing all that activity, that's okay. Just put your name beside everything, right? That's on here. All right. And again, you might have your own list of additional activities you're doing. Once you do that, what we do is we write all those items down on 2 columns, just like you see on this paper here. We write everything down, and then we start drawing lines on who's doing what. So I know it sounds kind of redundant, but just trust me, this way it works. So on here, write an initial down beside each item that everybody's doing. And then on here, you're going to draw lines to who's doing what. Now, once you do that, one thing that'll be, and by the way, you might say, well, Carl, it's just me again, right? I'm a one-woman band or one-man band, you know, today, right? And we all started that way. I did too, by the way. If you're the only one, put your name and then put first hire. If it's you and somebody else, well, then put your name in, you know, like whoever, your Cheryl or your Bob or your Jimmy or your Susan, whoever that is. Now, this is a dear friend of mine that filled this one out. This is Ken Pitts, who's part of our Loan Officer Freedom Club of high producers. And this is one of the first homeworks that we do. And when he filled this thing out and sent it to me, right? And Ken had Ken, and he had a team of 3 people at the time. But again, you might have 0 or 1 people or 22 people, right? Whatever it is, just write it down. Well, when he sent me this, he said, Carl, here's what my acts of freedom looks like to start with. and I looked at this and I said, my gosh, like before you even like just as you're looking at this today here on this recording that you're watching today, like what's one thing that's glaringly apparent? Like as you look at this, what's one thing that just kind of strikes out and goes, holy cow, right? And if you're like me, it's real obvious. You go, holy cow, all lines go to Ken, right? The me here, like everything goes to Ken. And it's actually worse than it looks because like this one line has like, I don't know, 10 things drawn next to it, and he's doing all of them, right? And the first time I saw this, I said, my gosh, Ken, who wants to be that guy, right? I don't want to be that guy. I get chest pain just looking at this, right? The stress. I said, dude, I want to be Cheryl. Cheryl's got like one job, right? I want to be that person, right? And he said when he looked at this, it was the first time that he'd realized how imbalanced it was in office, that indeed he was doing, you know, most of everything. All things led to Ken, which did not leave him time to go out and prospect for new business, right? Because that's where it's all about. Now, once you have this filled out like this, then what I want you to do is I want you to go get a whiteboard, right? And I want you to put it up in your office. And if your office is your house or your home office or your bedroom or a big office, I don't care. But go get a little whiteboard. And what you're going to do is you're then going to write down, so this is the way that it was, and this is the way going forward. Now let's take a look at these 2 differences. So you're going to put your name first, and then you're going to put your help, or again, if you don't have any help, then you're just going to put first hire, right? So as we look at this one, what looks different between Josh's that he did here and Ken, right? What looks different is Ken has 23 different things pointing to him, whereas Josh has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, when Josh showed me this, I said, Josh, let me ask you a question. Answering guideline questions. If you're out on vacation, who does that? Who answers it then? I can't remember who he said. Maybe it was, I'm just going to say Carla, right? I don't remember which one it was, but let's just say it was Carla. He said, Carla does it. I said, awesome. Well, if she can do it when you're on vacation, that means she can do it all the time, because when you're answering guideline questions, who's out meeting realtors and doing the Just Ask, which is a campaign that we use to get more loans from the loans that we already have, and who's out doing realtor presentations? In other words, when you're answering guideline questions, who's out there bringing new loans in that we need guideline questions asked on? Who's bringing the new loans when you're doing that? And he told me, well, nobody. Right. And so, well, dude, if you've got nobody doing it, that'd be like Walmart having no cash registers open, right? They'd never do that. They go, I'm sorry, you can't buy anything right now because all the cashiers are in the back stocking the shelves right now. So come back later, right? They would never do that. And it sounds crazy to even say that, yet most of us are doing that in our mortgage business. Well, we don't want to do that. We want everything that you do to be a proactive activity to bring in more loans. Once a loan comes in, at some point, your job is kind of done. You go, well, wait a minute, Carl, I'm the only one again. That's okay. What you're going to do is, once you identify that very small set of activities that you do that actually brings in the business, and you've got nobody else, then on that first line here, you're going to have new hire, and you're going to have this long list of things to do. That's what your help wanted ad looks like, right? This is how you go, well, Carl, what would my help do? Everything that's not on your list. Right? On your list is the proactive activity that brings in the business. On your new hires list is like everything else. And somebody might say, well, wait a minute, Carl, how can I find somebody to do all this stuff? That's too much for one person. You're doing it now, right? You're doing it now. You're doing everything. Those of you that's in that situation, and all of us were at some point, right? I used to do all those things too, right? When my production was much lower, because I spent much less time going out and bringing new business in. I spend most of my time, well, answering the phone and answering emails and taking apps and starting file, where the money's made for when the phone rings in, right? Making that phone call ring in, where it's somebody saying, hey, I'd like to speak to Carl. Realtor Susan told me to give Carl a call to get pre-approved. getting that call to come in is where the money is made. Once the call is made, it's reactive clerk-ish stuff, right? Nothing against it. I'm just saying that's what it is, right? The person that makes all the money isn't the French fry person that makes the French fries. It's the person that gets the cars to drive up to the drive-through to order the French fries. You follow me? So that's what we're looking to do here in your business is we're looking to make a small list of proactive activities that you're doing and then all the other things that your team's doing. This also does a couple different things. So number one, if you're the one man or one woman band, you're going to make a list of those things that you need in your help wanted ad. The other, if you've already got some help, when you clarify what each person's doing, everybody has a crystal clear vision of what they're supposed to be doing. In other words, if your handwritten notes didn't get written this week, well, Francesca was supposed to do that. I'm not picking on Francesca. This is just an example. We know that Francesca always does the handwritten notes for Josh, right on Josh's behalf. But if they didn't get done that week, it's not Carla can't say, "Oh, I thought you were doing it," and Francesca, "So I thought Sonny was doing it." No, it's very clear on their company whiteboard that that's a job for Francesca. Same thing as structuring the loans. If a loan doesn't get structured, or if the email's not answered, we know who dropped the ball. Or let's say Carla's going on vacation next week. We have now a very clear picture of these items need to go to either Sonny or Francesca, right? Or let's say because we've been doing this, we need another Sonny, right? We need another Francesca, or we need another Carla, whichever is the case. Well, you have you have a crystal clear of exactly what activity that person's going to be doing. Or let's say I don't know, Francesca is on maternity leave. Let's say that happens, right? That's always a very cool thing, right? Everybody wants that to happen. You want to be able to take time off, but we don't want the business to die when one of our employees is on maternity leave. So now we have somebody come in temporarily, or we hire a new person to help out do that activity. They have a crystal clear what each item they're going to be doing. And so we leave this up on our whiteboard in our office as kind of a living, breathing instrument, because as we do new activities, like we add them on. And then frankly, as we're doing an activity, we're seeing we're not getting any results from it, well, we'll just simply take that activity off. The main thing is that all the loan getting activity is your name, and all the after the phone rings goes to other people. And so this is a very, very, very powerful strategy, very powerful exercise to put into place to give you complete clarity of what you need to be doing. And frankly, for most of you, like I was shocked on all the different things that was on my list. And my gosh, after doing all this stuff by like when it looked like this, and we're doing all this activity, man, at the end of the day, we are wiped out. I know I was wiped out. And man, I get home and, in my case, a wife and 3 kids and man, I'm trying to take care of Carl and trying to take care of my wife, and the kids want to go bicycle riding out, and I'm exhausted. I was exhausted at the end of the day. Whereas when I learned how to run my business more effectively, more profitably, more successfully, with less effort, right at the end of the day, I'm still refreshed. So my 3 o'clock call with my referral partners, I'm still fresh because I'm not all beat down by chasing conditions, right? I'm not all wore out by being in my email and looking at all the issues that's coming up. We have other people to help us do that. And you say, well, Carl, I can't afford to do that just yet. Well, I would say, and I'm not saying this snarkily, you can't afford it because you're so busy, or you may be so busy putting out fires and chasing conditions and sending out the disclosures and doing the follow-ups and pricing the loans and pulling the credits. You're doing all that, and then you're not doing you're not doing the activity to bring in new loans, right? You're so busy doing the other stuff. So this kind of has to be a thing. It's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I'm gonna tell you, you got to get help, even if you think you can't afford it. I know when I got my first help, man, I was nervous as heck. I was like, well, I really can't afford this, but I knew I had to do it. I had to break the cycle. Something had to change. It's kind of like jumping off the cliff and growing your wings on the way down. That's kind of how it worked. Now, one thing that you might consider doing is like if you work for a company and maybe there's 2 or 3 of you that need some help, maybe go in together with somebody, with a couple of other loan officers, and you get one assistant, to help the 2 of you until your volume increases, because now you're freeing your time up. You can do more of the proactive activity. Now you can afford to go get help. But understand that the help is not an expense. The help is an investment. In other words, the help is putting $5 in a machine and $100 bills popping out. And people say, well, I don't have the $5 to put in the machine to get the $100 out. Get it, make it happen, figure it out, right? Because we're putting $5 in and $100 bills come out. My general rule of thumb is every time I hire somebody, they have to generate enough revenue by helping me close more loans to triple their salary. In other words, if somebody's making $50,000 a year, they have to be generating 150, right? Because I have to get profit from that. I don't want to just break even. I'm not looking just, well, if I close 3 more loans, that pays for, I'm not looking just to break even or just to pay their salary. I'm looking for profit here. I'm looking to get ahead. And that's what help will do. It's like buying ink for a printing press, printing out $100 bills, right? You got to buy the ink. You got to get the help. And if you say, well, as soon as I close 10 loans a month, then I'll go get that help, then I can afford it. It'll never happen, right? And if it does, you'll be so wiped out. You'll think, I don't want to close any more loans because I got too many headaches as it is. It's because you're doing everything, right? Well, if you're just doing that proactivity to bring in loans and have a team that's putting out the fires, frankly, doing the more frustrating part of it, we remain fresh, right? We remain fresh. Just real quick here. Man, this was something that I learned early in the game, and this was a really big deal for me. The activity that takes you from 0 to 4 loans per month, right? We all did that. I'm gonna tell you right now, that activity took us from 0 to 4 may not be the same activity that'll take us from 4 to 10 loans a month. And the activity that we did to get from 4 to 10 loans a month very well may not be the same activity that will take us to 30 loans a month. And I can tell you right now, the activity took me for 30 loans. I had to do a different set of activities, a different model to get to 100 loans a month. Where last year, our last month, our team did 743 loans, if I remember that's off the top of my head, but 743 loans for the month. It's a different set of activities than when I was closing 40 or 50 per month, a different model, completely different model. And so just understand that, like, we have to change gears. If we're in a car, we have to go from first gear to second gear to third gear to fourth gear to fifth gear to go faster and faster and faster. And if we go, well, I don't want to change gears, I just want to stay in first, you'll blow up the engine, or just be going down the road at 10 miles an hour. You gotta do something different. You have to do a different activity, which is scary because the old activity got you to where you are, and where you are might be pretty good, right? Nothing wrong with that. It was great activity to get you to where you are, but to get to the next level, you have to do a different set of activities. You have to, right? And they tell me to get to my next level, I have to do a different model yet again. So that's what I'm working on right now. So one thing that we found when we started looking at top producers is we found out that some top producers, well, they chase conditions, and some don't chase conditions. Some go to closing, some don't. Some work after hours, some top producers don't. Some top producers work weekends, some top producers don't. And so I started looking at this, wait, so as a top producer, I can chase conditions, go to closing, work after hours, work weekends, or not. And I thought, well, man, that's just the biggest no-brainer ever. I think I'll be one of those top producers that I don't chase conditions, I don't go to closings, I don't work after hours, and I darn sure don't work weekends. That's my family time. I recharge my batteries. That's the model I had to do to get to the level I'm at. Not too long ago, I met with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. A lot of you might certainly recognize him as Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. He was actually a very charming man. He was very, very kind, very pleasant. That whole thing where he plays a jerk was just at least what I saw that day was just a shtick. Like, he's really a super nice guy. But I was talking with him, and they said, all right, you can ask a couple questions, and I said, all right. Man, first question that came up in my mind which is exactly what I asked him. I said, Kevin, how do you become a billionaire? Right? How do you do that? Like, I've just by doing the model I got from making 100,000 a month or a year to 200 to 400 to now I make multiple millions a year, but I'm nowhere even close to a billion. How do you do that? I couldn't even imagine it, right? And he said, well, Carl, let me tell you how you make $1 billion. What you do, and this is what he told me, what you do, Carl, is make a list of all those things you do and then find a replacement that can do those activities for you. And now in this newfound time that you have, because you farmed out some of that activity, go make some more sales. Take some of that money, put it in your pocket, and take some of that money and hire somebody to take even more stuff off your list. And then while they're doing that, you have newfound time, go make some more sales. And now when you make more sales, take some of that money, put it in your pocket, take some of that money and go hire somebody to take things off your list. And now with this newfound time, go make more sales. Rinse and repeat. You get the idea. And that's exactly what I've done. And it's worked out for me. And I've still got a long ways to go, right? But that's the process. It's like peeling the layers of an onion off. It's just a constantly ongoing basis. And so that's the advice that I'm going to give you today is make a list of all those things you do, i.e. the acts of freedom. Find somebody that can help you, take those off, let them do it, and then you focus on the proactive activity and make more money. Put some of that money in your pocket, take some of that money and go get yet another help to take even more stuff off your plate, and just keep doing that over and over. That's where the money's made. That's where the success is. And that's how you take the evenings and weekends off and make, just an unfathomable amount of money. And in my case, working a 32-hour work week. It's awesome. It's really cool. So on Ken Pitts, he's the one that we showed that acts of freedom where he was doing everything. So when I first met Ken, all roads led to Ken. Is not supported by his management. So he went and got the right help. He started doing the daily success plan, which is the activities we do each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to go get more business. We'll be happy to help you with that if you'd like some help with it. And he was closing 5 to 6 loans a month with little help. Not a bad living at 5 to 6 loans. It's just not where he knew he could be, where he wanted to be, where he deserved to be, right? He was all stressed out. And frankly, as Ken would say it, he wasn't enjoying life. So where Ken is now that he's done his acts of freedom, he actually opened up his own company. He's doing a lot of the Homes for Heroes things. He's closing 10 to 15 loans per month now. And Ken says that life is pretty good for him. Like he's really having a good time. He's able to give back to his community and he's able to enjoy himself. And so that's our message for you today. So get rid of that there. So that's my presentation for you today. Again, we're going to provide this PowerPoint, so Valerie will have that as part of our class here today. And if you'd like some help on the daily success plan, like what is that activity we do each day of the week and what are the scripts and a little bit more of who does that what, we're happy to go over that with you. There's no charge. If you just go to loanofficerstrategycall.com, loanofficerstrategycall.com, either myself or Ralph, who's actually the gentleman that got me in the mortgage business, or Mike, we'll get on the phone with you. Figure about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Just a one-on-one call, no charge. Keep your credit card in your pocket, and we'll map out this daily success plan with you. And a lot of people find that very helpful, so we're happy to do that. But that's what I got for you today, Miss Valerie. So again, on behalf of the cool people that are introducing our trainings to you, and to my dear friend Frank Garay, who I'm honored to be working with on this new training here in the association. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Go do your acts of freedom. Don't just go watch these classes that Frank and myself and our friends are teaching you. Put this stuff into action. Be one of those few that actually puts this stuff into action, and amazing things will happen. So thanks again. I appreciate all you guys. Again, my name is Carl White, loanofficerstrategycall.com, and we'll see you on the next training. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much.